This is our United States of America, a country rich in diversity.
I think anytime we can take a melting pot of people that have different life experiences and bring all that stuff together, that's what makes America, America.
And packed with complexity.
People in general are friendly to each other in general, but groups sometimes get carried away with their own agenda.
You know, every family has its story of the challenges they've been facing daily.
From the bustling coasts to the vast deserts, a land full of breathtaking beauty, diverse landscapes, and natural wonders.
I love the scenery, I love the rocks and seeing it all.
Where seeing beauty in our differences enriches the American experience.
Everyone comes in with a completely different background, and it's really nice to see how accepted they are.
For here, you have hope with hard work.
Let's get this job going.
You have innovation with optimism.
Here, what our mission is that we connect people through helping.
And everyday heroes emerge, Americans who bridge gaps.
Everybody has something to offer, whether it's time, energy, money, resources. Everybody's got something that they can give back with.
Foster understanding.
When I sing, I hope people feel that I'm just trying to be a source of encouragement towards them. Let them know that whatever you're going through, it's gonna be okay.
Spread positivity.
I'm so glad you're here to help.
And build community.
And that's when we went from being a community service day to a community building event.
We're running 246 across.
These incredible people remind us that together we are greater than the sum of our parts.
God put some godly people in my lives that made a difference in my life. And I want to make a difference in someone else's.
They did make a difference here in our communities and, for our families.
We celebrate the remarkable strength.
It's all about, the true American spirit of people helping people.
In these United States. Lewis Haynes spends a lot of time outdoors hunting for treasure.
It's kind of like Christmas morning every time you kneel down to dig something. You never know what's laying underneath the package there, under the wrapping.
And he's pretty good at finding things of value.
Oh, I found Black Hills gold rings. I found silver rings. I like the old coins probably the best.
But it's not just the thrill of the hunt that drives him.
It started off as something interesting, something to get him out and getting his steps in for the day, and it turned into a lot more than that for him.
It's the connections he's made and the healing that takes place from this hobby that matters most to him.
Feel I can't find a good target here and we'll dig it.
Man, my dad's kind of been through a lot, and yet he's still this positive, bubbly person that loves to laugh more than he does anything else.
So I guarantee it's probably a sprinkler head.
When you're doing it, it kind of gives you a singular focus.
You see, Lewis struggles with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Something I live with every day. It affects the way I do things, how I do them or not do them. It directs where I go, where I may not go.
He was diagnosed with PTSD after spending many years in the military.
Started off with a M1 tank platoons with 4 tanks. Then I took a scout platoon of 6 Bradley fighting vehicles, and that's what I took through the Persian Gulf War.
He also served in leadership roles in both South Korea and the Western Sahara Desert.
Military leadership is a hard thing, making tough decisions and living with them. Loss, dealing with loss, dealing with the what-ifs. I think anybody that's deployed to an active combat zone comes back with those questions, the what-ifs. And they all find hopefully they all find a toolbox with tools in it to help them deal with that.
In his own search for tools, Lewis became acquainted with fellow veteran Terry Solomon.
I am a member of American Legion Post 1038 here in New York, Valhalla, New York.
Terry is the founder of Metal Detectors for Veterans, a nonprofit organization that is uniting soldiers in a unique way.
We try to support the living with no visible wound. but who still suffer greatly from their experiences during wartime. What has been found is that hobbies like fishing, metal detecting, take the veteran away from those dark thoughts.
Metal detectors for veterans is something that he put together because of his experiences and his relief that he's received from the hobby.
Alaska to Maine, we have sent detectors out to veterans. Yes, it's wonderful.
Actually, talking with Terry, I've also kind of taken on a role of talking to other veterans that he's helped in the state of Utah.
I'm just thrilled that I've met so many different people throughout all of the branches of the service.
Getting outdoors with his metal detector is a gift Lewis is grateful for.
And it kind of turns every detectorist into a mini historian.
But more than that, it's the fun he has and the connections he's made with others that he finds most valuable.
He's been able, through this hobby and also through being a veteran, to connect with so many different kinds of people.
You know, when you're hunting with somebody and they find something awesome, then you'll get to share in that with them.
He sends me pictures all the time of the stuff that he's finding. It's incredible.
Recently, while searching an empty lot near his home, Lewis dug up a treasure from the past.
It was deep. It was probably a good 8 to 10 inches deep when I dug it.
The discovery of which would prove to be priceless.
I picked it up and rubbed it off, and all of a sudden that gold star showed through, and I said, well, I got some sort of medallion.
He learned it was a medallion given to families who had lost a soldier in World War I.
One of those things that kind of still make the hair stand up on the back of my neck when I talk about it. But it's just a normal day going along, and I got a signal, and I assumed I was probably digging another jar lid. I got it out of the ground, and well, that's not a jar lid. Don't know what it is. It's got a gold star on it.
What he didn't know was the treasure he found would take him on a journey spanning nearly 100 years.
It had a nice date on the front of it, 1930, so it kind of placed it right there for me. Kind of cleaned it up to where I could kind of understand what it was, and looked at it and then tried to search online for what it was. And
Lewis discovered it was a medallion given to families who had lost a soldier in World War I.
Understanding what that medallion stood for, that it was given to a widow or a mother that participated in a trip to see where they were buried.
It was then that the impact of his find began to sink in.
Pretty hefty weight, understanding that that was given for a service member that sacrificed for our country.
And the brotherhood from a fellow military member gave him purpose.
Then I determined that I probably needed to see if I could track the family down. That became a pretty moral imperative for me.
But he had no idea where to start.
Being able to reach back that far to identify a family, especially an heir, to get that to. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get that accomplished. So, I tried to look online. My skills, I didn't really get anywhere with that. So I engaged on Facebook. I belong to a couple of forums, and I belong to the Utah Metal Detectors Forum.
He shared a photo of the medallion and told of his mission to reunite it with its rightful family. A curious member of the Facebook group noticed the post.
So I was just deep diving into it and came across some records at Villanova.
And she was able to find the list of the widows and mothers that were actually eligible to take the trip, which was the key.
It had copies of the actual letters for the pilgrimage that the government sent to widows and mothers of soldiers who had passed in World War I in France. There were thousands of soldiers to go through.
The list was broken up by state and county, so they narrowed their search to Utah and connected the dots from there.
We were literally just messaging back and forth in Facebook Messenger. Like, we hadn't met, we hadn't talked on the phone.
Their mission to return the medallion to the fallen soldier's family created an unexpected friendship between strangers.
I think everything happened for you.
Oh no, a lot of stuff wouldn't happen without you, I tell you that.
We got together in Salt Lake and
Are you all ground balanced and everything?
had a little metal detecting session.
Oh, right here.
And it was pretty awesome.
I have it off to the side right there.
You know, being able to meet new friends.
It's $1.
Oh, $1 coin!
Share a hobby that we both enjoy.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Pretty Sacagawea.
It's wonderful. It truly is. Oh, once I made the connection with the family,
Oh, Errol.
there was a big sense of relief for me.
We were amazed. We just kind of like, Lewis, you did this, you did that. We were both just, why did you do this?
Is this him?
Doesn't he look like a twin to me?
He actually does.
I think it's great that he's willing to do that, to go out of his way and do something for our family.
It's truly a real connecting thing to the past, because this is an uncle we never knew.
My dad was only 8 years old when Hubert died.
Lewis found a deep connection with the fallen soldier Hubert Hiram Burns, realizing they had much in common.
Unbelievable the amount of interpersonal connections attached to something that I dug up out of the dirt right here.
He was raised in Cove, Oregon, and I grew up in La Grande, Oregon. And they're in the same small mountain valley, 16 miles apart. Then his family actually moved from La Grande, Oregon down here to become Gilsonite miners about the same time my family moved from Utah to La Grande, Oregon. He was killed on June 4th, 1918. He was 23 years old. At 23 years old, I was leading my scout platoon in the Gulf War. Too many similarities to be random.
You know, it's amazing how small our world's become.
It just gives me chills. It's incredible. You just feel the camaraderie.
Who could have imagined that a medallion crafted nearly a century ago to help heal a mother's heart would generate a brotherhood between veterans from different eras, unite a diverse group of people in a common cause, and bring a family closer together?
He really accomplished something that seemed so small on the surface, but we think is big.
I think he was meant to find it. I think it's been waiting for him to find it and to be that person to get it back to the family.
To go to that much effort for somebody he doesn't even know. He's not related to us. He's not related to Hubert, but he cared. To me, it's the epitome of concern and of for others.
When you turn on the lights in your home, you likely never think about the journey that power took to reach you. But for Bessie, who has waited most of her life for electricity,
thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it.
the moment is pure joy.
I'm like, yippee! Finally! We're getting our electric.
It's hard to fathom life without power.
A lot of people don't see or don't understand that there are families here in America that struggle without electricity.
I've been living here for over 40 years and I didn't have electric.
The simple act of turning on a light, refrigerating your food, or watching television is a luxury many of us take for granted. Yet for thousands of families living on Navajo land, it's a luxury they've never had until now. Thanks to Light Up Navajo, a humanitarian project that's breaking down barriers.
And that really touches me, like people do care.
And creating opportunity, one home at a time.
And we have people in different communities in America that send crews out here to help us extend power to homes where families have been living without electricity.
Couldn't believe there was this many people that still didn't have electricity in the United States. That's never even had access to it. And it's just, when we heard that, we wanted to help.
Light Up Navajo is giving a diverse group of people a chance to better understand their fellow Americans.
They're getting ready to go to the community project, which has 21 customers on that project. So
Vercynthia is a district manager at the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority in northern Arizona.
I'm a veteran of the U.S. Army. I served during the Desert Storm era. Serving my country was more or less, I've been raised that way.
She knows firsthand the impact of living without basic services.
I lived without utilities all the way into my 20s.
And understands how having them can change lives.
It helps you to start connecting with the rest of the world.
As district manager at NTUA, Vercynthia oversees projects that enhance utility services in her district near Kayenta.
We're behind more than 50 years in technology, utility services, some water more so. In the rest of America, they had utility services for more than 100 years, and I felt we were kind of left behind.
Light Up Navajo is helping to bridge this gap and unite people from throughout the country.
And with groups coming in and becoming aware of our conditions and willing to step up to, help us, leaving their families to be out here to change somebody else's family, and that really connects people. In my lifetime, I didn't think I was going to see that.
It started in 2019. Our general manager, Walter Haas, was the chairman of the American Public Power Association. And he was given time to talk and explain about his home community or his home utility. He talked about the challenges we face in terms of having thousands of families living without electricity. The reaction from people from those communities were like, how is this possible in America? And they collectively said, what can we do to help?
Since then, dozens of utility companies from 19 different states have sent hundreds of volunteer linemen to assist.
Even though they might not know us and we might not know them, we want them to have the same things that we have at home.
This year our goal is to connect 150 families, but these are families that live, in the most remote areas where the possibility of getting electricity would have been years away.
For many volunteers, this is their first time experiencing the beauty and challenges of this part of the country.
This is probably my first time past Mississippi.
They're in awe of the terrain, the landscape itself, from the mountains to the canyons.
If it was this hot and humid in Alabama, you wouldn't be able to breathe. I think it's beautiful. I love it out here.
Well, it's a very humbling experience.
We'll go ahead and start pulling.
To come and face these working conditions.
So I'm hoping we don't get stuck.
All right, halfway up.
10-4.
Not knowing how they would be accepted worried some at first.
It's only right to be nervous, like, okay, I don't know what to expect. Will I be welcome?
Good job, you guys.
But the response has been overwhelmingly positive.
They've been teaching us a little bit of their history and things like that, throughout that's been a cool experience too.
When they are acknowledged, welcome, ya'at'eh, and then just saying thank you, those are some of the things that they get really surprised by that.
The families have been welcoming, and it's something that the line workers don't expect.
It's very emotional for them, and some people have waited even 50 years just to get the power to their house.
Benny Black, a meter reader in the Kayenta district, has been waiting years for power to reach his home.
In my younger days, we used to use a kerosene lamp, and so we got used to that light.
He lives in a remote area just outside Kayenta.
Not only for summer, but wintertime is one of the parts too. People haul woods, and these days woods costs close to $300, and it only lasts less than a month.
Benny has watched sadly as friends have left the area because of lack of services.
Well, that's why a lot of families, they move to cities, because they don't have jobs around here, and they don't have electricity in their homes.
All right, let's go. Let's get after it.
This summer, crews finally brought power to Benny's home.
Well, we got it.
One of the best things to happen to him was finally getting a refrigerator.
Having electricity for refrigeration is the most common response. Now I can get a refrigerator. Now I can get a freezer. Last year, this lady, she was saying that I raise my kids on canned food. I don't want to raise my grandchildren on canned food. They get fresh food now that I do have electricity.
We just got our electric last night on with the help of these guys here sitting in front of me. We're still trying to get used to it.
Leland and his wife are the parents of a young family. They too struggled to keep food fresh without electricity.
I mean, through about 12 years without electricity, we had probably wasted about $10,000 worth of food that had rotted on us.
The crews from Alabama changed all that.
We connected our first customer yesterday, and just the look on that family's face just made it all worth it. It's kind of very emotional seeing the family like that and knowing that something I have every day that these people have never had. And it makes you feel really good.
And we're like, is this today, it's gonna be today, you know. Just very honest, when the meter turned on right there, they walked in there and turned on the switch, and like, wow. And it's a change, a major change for us, because it changes the way we look at things.
Yesterday was very humbling to see those little girls when we plugged the meter in, knowing how their livelihood has changed.
And I told them this morning, I was like, hey, you know what? You can curl your hair now.
They don't realize how much excitement I got in me, as well as my kids and my wife, you know. As soon as they all left, I finally just had to let it out, you know, start crying.
And on behalf of my husband and my kids, thank you.
When you see it firsthand, it's real. It's real.
These are tough journeymen, you know, and it's a good thing to have sunglasses because, you know, it really hides, you know, just how it's impacted them.
This is very humbling to be a part.
All right, yeah.
And I praise God for it all.
All right, brother. Boss man. Thanks, Leonard. Could have had a better one.
When they go home, they're no longer strangers. They part as friends.
He'll call you.
I feel like they have made a difference in my own family, which is the Navajo Nation. There's no words to say thank you. There's just that big, you know, appreciation for it.
We wanted to come out here and give you guys a hand and turn some people's lights on. So I hope that they learn that people actually, you know, care about them.
With both sides better off for having worked together.
You know, every time they're done and they leave, you know, I give them a handshake and a hug, and I tell them, if you close every switch in the whole United States, the whole power grid, and we all touch the line, we're all brothers in that way. So we're all connected one way or another.
Once that connection is made, you know, that understanding of, you know, why I'm here and then why you're here all comes together. You know, it's that fulfillment, you know, that fulfillment of accomplishment and that certainly fulfillment of gratitude.
Sometimes I just don't have the words to say, you know, just other than the fact that I got to say thank you for helping us lighten up our homes, you know.
When we plugged this meter in on this house, we have made a difference in this lady's life. To hear her talk about how long she has been waiting for this, I'm just thankful. Just thank God for letting me be a part of this.
And the idea is really we see the world not as haves and have-nots, but as haves and have-mores.
In 1999, Hollywood scriptwriter David Levinson's life took an unexpected turn when a simple request from the rabbi at his synagogue sparked the creation of a flourishing nonprofit.
Big Sunday actually started as a single day of service at my synagogue in 1999.
It was part of Mitzvah Day.
People in synagogues would go out into the community and help in all kinds of ways.
His rabbi asked if he would volunteer to head up the day of service, and he agreed.
The plan was to do 2 or 3 projects. And I decided we had to do 17 projects.
The second year, he expanded the day to include even more projects and invited others from the community to join. More than 800 people from 10 different groups came together to help.
So it wasn't remotely scientific. It wasn't planned. It was like, okay, my kids go to a secular private school. I'll ask that school to do it. We have these friends who are involved in their Catholic church. I'll ask them. I was driving down the street here in LA, and I passed a Lutheran church that had a sign out front saying, Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish friends. So I thought, okay, they'll probably be game.
It was during his third year as the volunteer coordinator when things changed for him.
I reached out to his Covenant House, which is a Catholic group, which helps runaway youth. And I called their caseworker. I said, how can we help you? We're doing this on this day in May. How can we help you? And she said to me, our kids don't need help. They want to give help. And I was like, whoa, like I wasn't expecting that. And their kids were rough. I mean, it was sort of, so it's like, okay, if that's what she says, I'll go along with this.
Here, what our mission is that we connect people through helping.
Over the years, the one-day event transformed into 2 days, and then 3. Eventually, David spun off from the temple, quit his job as a writer.
But this wasn't part of the plan. This wasn't part of the dream.
Changed the name from Mitzvah Day to Big Sunday.
We were working very hard to be multicultural and multi-denominational, and it was hard to keep explaining it all the time.
Make yourself at home. We're going to start in a few minutes.
And in 2008, incorporated as an official nonprofit group.
It was great timing because it was a full week, I think at least, before all the markets crashed, and we went into a global recession. So that was an interesting time to start a nonprofit. I don't advise it. But I kept saying, this is a great opportunity. I'm not sure for what.
Absolutely. Everyone has some time that they need help, and we all have to look out for one another.
But in the end, my friend, all we've got is each other.
And I feel like if you're working side by side with somebody, and you're painting a fence, or you're planting a garden, or you're visiting with a veteran, and you're working side by side with somebody and spending the day with them for a common goal, and then at the end of the time, that person is not the kid from Watts, or the lady from Beverly Hills, or the family from Boyle Heights, or the couple from Koreatown. They're a person. Then it's a lot harder to hate them.
'Cause in the end, my friend, all we got is each other.
So much of what we see now is people out there yelling about the other, whoever the other happens to be. And once you know them, we're all just people. Some people say, I can't help because I have a 2-year-old. It's like, bring her to that nursing home. She doesn't have to tap dance. If she smiles, she's done a good deed. Other people say, I can't help because I'm old. It's like, sure you can. Hand out the cookies. Greet people as they come in and give them a smile, and you've done your thing. I mean, I meet so many nice people all the time. And people, we did an event once, we were doing a barbecue, hosting them at a movie night and hosting people in shelters and struggling. And there was a woman there at the grill, and an older woman. And I said, are you retired? She said, no, I still work. And I said, what do you do? And she said, I'm a school custodian. I'm a school custodian. And she was there on her free time helping others. That kind of generosity is, and I'm so lucky that I get to see it from so many people, and people who didn't think they had it.
Everybody has something to offer, whether it's time, energy, money, resources. Everybody's got something that they can give back with. People want to help. People want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. People want to have purpose and meaning in their lives.
It's like a breath of air to be able to carry on.
Here, there's true purpose and meaning to the work. I see directly every day the work that I'm doing touches people.
My name is Joseph, and I am the president and founder of Bear Truth. I run a company where we take care of the homeless. Right now, I feed about 30,000 people a year. I house almost 100 people here in LA, and then I work with multiple different schools, so we go all the way around. David was one of the first mentors I had, and I said, man, you don't look like me, but how can I be down? And I wanted to know, and ever since then, he's been helping me out.
We love David and the work that he and his staff has done. The way their reach is so broad, and the depth of their involvement is profound. I brought my son with me. It's important for him to see that the importance of coming together. Community really is at the center of how we need to live as a society.
I think when you're face to face with people and you see, who they are, what they need, a little bit of their story, you have compassion and empathy.
Big Sunday is creating opportunities for people to connect, learn from one another, and find common ground.
I think generally people are good. I think when you get people off of the internet and you put them in a room together, you realize that we're not all bad.
Hi, Julie. How are you?
I'm good.
So glad you're here.
Everybody who walks in there has value, and they're treated as if they have value.
And we purposely make it so people can help at any level.
We go on Wednesdays because it's Accessible Wednesday, and everything is geared towards people who are not typical, neurotypical. In most places, Siddharth receives help, right? Like at home, when we're out and about. But at Big Sunday, he can actually participate and be of service to somebody. With Big Sunday, the difference is that you are the community. There is no barrier. So Siddharth is as much a participant as the fully able-bodied 30-year-old. When your son doesn't belong anywhere, right? When you find somebody who not only opens the door but keeps it propped open, it's just life-changing. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. It's the caring, it's the compassion, it's the empathy, it's the willingness to stand up for what's correct. It's, all the things that really build up resilience, a good community.
I'm so glad you're here to help.
It's been a blessing to get to see all these people at their best.
Most times, the events they host at Big Sunday are designed to bring people together to help others.
We have shelters, women's shelters, veterans, unhoused people, animals, environment, working with schools. We have such a wide range of people that we help.
School kits, hygiene kits, food for the hungry. The list is endless.
You want to see if we can get that in there too?
We're never going to run out of people to help, ever. And it's amazing that we get to do what we can to help all the people that need our services.
But sometimes the events are just for fun.
This is Shantae, our bus driver.
For this one, it's a party, if you will, on a bus.
Thank you.
A chance to relax and enjoy one another's company.
It's a very special occasion because it's our second annual donut crawl.
Like every Big Sunday activity, the group is diverse and everyone is welcome.
Why don't we go around the bus and we can all introduce ourselves and say one perhaps surprising thing about ourselves that somebody else might not know.
The plan is simple. It's 3 stops,
Thank you.
9 donuts,
All
one
right.
delicious mission.
We have an Uwe purple yam donut.
Nothing about it is serious,
Drum roll, please.
except the personal connections being made.
If you chose the Netherlands, you are correct.
When we go to the next one, we're going to have to do some serious comparisons.
Okay, thank you.
And while the Big Sunday staff takes care of everything,
Any raspberry back here?
it's young and old sitting side by side with no concern for the busy LA traffic.
And let's hear it for Passion and Madison, who are risking life and limb on this moving bus to hand you a part of a donut.
For you. Thank you.
At the end of the journey, just as David had hoped, everyone leaves with a better understanding and appreciation for each other.
But if there's one thing this job has taught me, is that there's nothing that helps ease your burden more than when you help someone else lighten their load.
You are love, superstar.
Oh, I love that.
And then the little cat.
Assuming the best, seeing the best, bringing out the best in everyone. Thoughtful words on the back of a shirt, but for David, it's much more than that.
We're all God's children, and And, you know, we have to honor that. We have to look out for our brothers and sisters.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white.
We're not just singers. We are public servants. We're not just singers. We're citizens of a global society. We're not just singers. We're change makers.
And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
The Tabernacle Choir and Morehouse and Spelman College Glee Clubs have formed an alliance that transcends their differences.
In this age where difference is so pointed out, it was an example of, we're not trying to change you, we're just trying to be with you.
You heard the story to grow, love and light, so it's time to go.
The collaboration between these choirs is a powerful example of how music can foster a sense of unity and divine presence.
It's something special about being able to show people God through music, the thing that you love, the thing that you cherish the most, letting them see God and being able to see how amazing he can be and how many great things that he can just bring into your life. It's indescribable.
Here we go, ready? Full front, sing it right there.
Music has a profound way of bringing people together, and that's what it did.
I look at this political landscape, I look at our world and everything that's going on, and I see how this musical opportunity can really provide a sense of hope.
The friendship was first established in October 2023 when the Atlanta-based choirs joined with the Tabernacle Choir in Salt Lake City.
My soul's been anchored, anchored in the Lord, in the Lord, in the Lord.
The two groups performed on the choir's weekly broadcast of music and the spoken word.
I had high expectations, but this exceeded it. There was a sense of peace. There was a sense of common unity in our shared beliefs.
That first meeting broke down stereotypes and proved powerful for everyone.
Honestly speaking, I had no idea what a Latter-day Saint was, except I didn't know anything about the choir, period. I then watched the videos and I said, that's a lot of people.
I knew of the Tabernacle Choir. I think my grandma, she would like watch them on TV, but I didn't know that it was like such a global thing and so like impactful in the world.
I'd never really thought about meeting somebody that was like a Latter-day Saint. That was just not an experience that I'd ever heard other people talk about. Like I've never heard of anybody who's gone to Utah around here.
There was new friendship. It was a remarkable moment in choir history.
When a lot of musicians come together, it's almost like the gates of heaven open and the angels are singing with glory, and just a tear formed, I believe, on all of me and my sisters and my Morehouse Glee brothers' faces.
These are prayers to God to bring people together. And this is something that the world needs right now.
I felt in that moment that there was such an angelic presence that was resting over the facility and resting in the ambiance, so much so that what was going on outside, it didn't matter anymore.
And the feelings of unity continued when the Tabernacle Choir went to Atlanta as part of their Hope World Tour and sung with the glee clubs there.
I think there was just a remarkable spirit of hope and unity in the room, and I think that there's nothing like music to bring to unify and bring people together.
We're accomplishing our purpose as a choir of bringing a sense of peace and healing and unity, as very well exemplified last night, to a world that badly needs unity, peace, and healing.
We wrapped our arms around a troubled world, and we extended to this community and to all communities an olive branch
that music is a healer.
The hope is that this collaboration will prove to be an example to others.
I do believe that the effects of this will be able to branch off into the larger world and allow us to live in a world where we are no longer separated by arbitrary boundaries and we're more unified as one cohesive unit.
Through music and through doing so many diverse things and doing them well, we can see that that can translate into other kinds of unity.
To be able to bring people together at a time where we may not see a sense of unity, we may not see a sense of connection, but in this music we find our shared understanding.
I see that this is what the world needed to see. With the state of our government, with the state of our nation, with the state of the world, we needed to see love amongst people from different walks of life.
Regardless of our beliefs, regardless of where we come from, we can all work together to bring some peace and some light into the world and be an example of our Savior Jesus Christ.
If you watch for it, every day in the fabric of America, there's a story unfolding.
I served my country because of all the 50 states, and it didn't matter who was within those states.
A story of people from all walks of life coming together to lend a hand.
If you can't help anybody, I mean, what are you doing? I just wanted to come help others.
What would America be if we were in a community believing in freedom and the blessings that we have living here?
I got you. You know, we could disagree on politics, we could disagree on anything going on in the world, but we're all in agreement. We're all in agreement as to why we're here.
Absolutely everyone has some way they can help somebody else.
We're all Americans, regardless of our political orientation, racial orientation, or anything else. Number one, we're Americans. And we should all be proud of that.
Fixing the big 30-10.
We all are blessed. We don't realize. We take things for granted.
It's a story that reminds us of the power of unity and the beauty of diversity.
I can't imagine a life without community. I enjoy myself and I feel like I'm helping other people in different ways.
In these moments, we see the true spirit of humanity.
When you see it firsthand, it's real. It's real.
It's not about where we come from or what we look like. It's about the kindness we show and the help we offer.
Let's help make the world better. I don't care if we're just making eye contact and smiling at somebody. Do that, because it might help somebody's day, and in turn it will help yours.
When we unite, our differences become our strengths.
People of all different walks of life can come together and have one goal in mind.
And our collective effort becomes a beacon of hope.
There seems to be a feeling in the air that enough is enough already. Enough of the hate, enough of the anger, enough of the finger pointing. And I'm hopeful that is changing.
Let us celebrate this tapestry of kindness and compassion, the goodness that is woven together every day in cities and towns across America.
When people say America, you see the flag, but it's more than just a flag. It's more than that. I think it's more of that being a good neighbor to one another, having that brother-sisterhood. So it's a brother-sister's keeper. We keep each other.
Embrace your faith and be proud to be an American. I think that's the key.
Let us honor the unsung heroes, the ones who lend a hand, who help turn dreams into reality, and who show us that there is beauty in these United States.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies,
for amber waves of grain,
for purple mountains' majesties above the fruited plain.
America, America, God shed his grace on thee,
and crown thy good with brotherhood.
From sea to shining sea,